Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about that really thin line of trust we have with our tech. We'll dive into a story about a Tesla driver who maybe trusted his car a little too much, and then we'll zoom all the way out to a massive $52 billion deal that shows how that trust is becoming a global power play. So, yeah, how much should we really trust this stuff? That's the big question, right? Because that trust, it gets tested all the time. And sometimes it gets pushed way, way past its limit, which is exactly what one driver in Jordan just found out, the hard way. Okay, so get this. A video goes viral showing this Tesla just cruising. But wait, the driver? He's chilling in the passenger seat. He's just got a hand on the wheel, to trick the car's sensors, and he's doing this on roads that are absolutely not ready for that kind of automation. So how did it end? You guessed it. The guy got arrested. This is just a perfect and kind of scary example of that huge gap between what tech can do and what we should ever let it do. And, this whole issue isn't just about cars. Sometimes it's the tech we wear right on our own bodies that can go wrong in, some pretty direct and painful ways. And that brings me to this next story, which is, honestly, it's kind of terrifying. It's all about Samsung's new Smart Ring. All right, I want you to picture this. You're at the airport, you're about to get on your flight, and you feel this weird pressure on your finger. You look down, and your brand new Smart Ring is literally swelling up. That's exactly what happened to a content creator. The battery malfunctioned, and the ring just started expanding, getting so tight he couldn't get it off. He had to completely ditch his flight, race to the hospital, and the only way they could get it off was to surgically cut this expensive piece of tech right off his finger. Wow. And the crazy part is, this might not be just some freak accident. The host of the Basha podcast, who broke the story, mentioned that even his ring's battery life just tanked, dropping from 8 days to like 3 or 4. So this could be a much bigger problem. It's a bit worrying. Okay, so while some of today's tech is having issues, let's switch gears and look at what's being promised for tomorrow. Okay, let's move on from current problems and talk about future promises. Let's see what's on the horizon, what's coming next. And we're going to start with some juicy new leaks that give us a really clear picture of Samsung's next big phone, the Galaxy S26. So, for the big one, the S26 Ultra, the leaks are saying it's keeping that monster 200 megapixel main camera. But here's the real story. It's the other lenses. Both the ultra-wide and the zoom camera are supposedly getting a huge upgrade to 50 megapixels. That could be a total game changer for how flexible that camera system is. Now, here's the key takeaway. For the regular S26 models, it looks like the hardware isn't changing much at all. Instead, Samsung is basically betting the farm on AI. They're counting on their software and image processing to deliver that next big jump in photo quality, not just bigger, newer hardware. Meanwhile, over in the OnePlus camp, they are hitting the gas hard. They're apparently planning to launch 2 different flagship phones in the same year. That's a super aggressive move, and you have to wonder, isn't that going to tick off customers who just bought the first one, only to see a better one come out just a few months later? We'll see. All right, now let's go a layer deeper. We're going to move past the gadgets themselves and look at the tech inside the tech. The little components that are going to define all of our future devices. And first up is a really cool breakthrough in camera sensors. So, Sony just announced this wild new 10K sensor with something called global shutter. And this is awesome because it fixes a problem you have absolutely seen. When you pan your phone camera really fast and the video gets all wobbly and jello-like? Yeah, that's rolling shutter. Global shutter gets rid of it completely by capturing the whole image all at once. It's a big deal. But hey, Nikon isn't just going to sit back and let Sony have all the fun. Nope. They're apparently working on a hybrid sensor that can switch between both modes. And you might be asking, why would you want to switch back? Well, it turns out the old rolling shutter can actually be better for certain things, like capturing crazy high-speed action. So this hybrid approach, it's really about giving photographers the best of both worlds. Okay, for any photographers or videographers out there, if you've ever had that heart in your throat moment where you drop a flimsy plastic SD card, you're gonna love this. Lexar is launching new armor cards. And yeah, the name says it all. They're ditching the plastic and building these things out of stainless steel. So they're designed to survive water, dust, and basically the kind of abuse that would absolutely destroy a normal card. All right, PC builders, PC gamers, your turn. Leaks for NVIDIA's next-gen 50 series GPUs are out, and they are pointing to a huge bump in VRAM. We're talking mid-range cards getting something like 16 gigs, which not long ago was strictly high-end stuff. So why is that a big deal? Simple. More VRAM means these cards can handle way higher res textures and more complicated game worlds, which is exactly what we're going to need for the insane-looking games coming down the pike. Okay, for our last section, let's pull the camera way, way back. Let's zoom out and look at the massive billion-dollar chess moves that are completely reshaping the entire tech world. And we're going to start in the smart home, where a very familiar giant is making its next big play. So over in the smart home world, Amazon is basically giving its whole Alexa lineup a refresh. For the audiophiles, there's a new high-end Echo Studio designed for fancy home theater setups. Then for the rest of us, there's a new compact Echo Max. And finally, the Echo Show smart displays are getting a fresh new look too. But that's nothing compared to this. The biggest news by far is a truly monumental deal that's shaking the gaming world to its core. We're talking about the acquisition of a legendary company, one that has basically defined sports gaming for decades. I mean, this is a name that's been in living rooms for generations. And here it is, the number that's just sending shockwaves through the entire industry. A joint bid from the Saudi Public Investment Fund and Silver Lake is about to acquire EA Sports for a jaw-dropping $52.5 billion. Just to put that into perspective for you, that one deal absolutely dwarfs almost every other acquisition in the history of gaming. It's massive. You see, a deal like this, it completely changes the game. This isn't just about corporations competing anymore. This moves the whole thing into the realm of geopolitics, of global influence. And it leaves us with one final, really important question to chew on. What happens to entertainment, to culture, to gaming itself when entire nations, not just companies, become the biggest players at the table?